I snooped on my friend's phone and found out that she hates me and only communicates with me for profit. And I still continue to be friends with her because I have no one else. I have to confess something. I once snooped through my best friend's phone, and what I found completely shattered me, but I still pretended like nothing happened. It started on a random evening at her place. We were hanging out, watching Netflix, eating snacks, the usual lazy Friday night routine. She left her phone on the couch while she went to the bathroom, and it lit up with a message. I wasn't planning to look, I swear. I'm not usually that person. But my eyes caught the preview, and it was from someone I knew she'd been gossiping with before. Curiosity kicked in like an itch I couldn't ignore. Before I knew it, I had her phone in my hand. At first, I was just scrolling to see if there was anything funny, like memes she hadn't shared with me. But then, I saw my name pop up in a chat thread. My heart dropped instantly. You know that rush when your stomach feels like it's on a roller coaster? That was me. I tapped, and there it was, a full conversation where she was basically tearing me apart. She was telling someone how annoying I was, how she only hung out with me because I was useful, because I had a car, because I always picked up the bill when we ate out. It was like being stabbed but in slow motion, with every message cutting deeper. I sat there frozen, scrolling through line after line. My palms were sweating, my chest was pounding, and I couldn't believe the words were coming from someone I trusted like a sister. I kept thinking, maybe it's a joke? Maybe I'm misunderstanding the tone? But no. There were laughing emojis, eye roll emojis, and even screenshots of my texts that she was mocking with someone else. The climax of the betrayal was one particular line. Honestly, I can't stand being around her. But she's too easy to manipulate, so I just keep her close. That sentence burned into my brain like it was carved with a knife. It felt like the room was spinning. I thought about all the times I defended her, all the times I thought we were inseparable, all the times I had called her my ride or die. And here she was, casually admitting that she hated me but kept me around for convenience. By the time she came back from the bathroom, I had already put her phone down and forced a smile like nothing had happened. She sat back next to me, laughing about the show, passing me chips, completely unaware that my entire view of her had flipped upside down. I didn't confront her. I didn't storm out. I just stayed. And to this day, she has no idea that I know the truth. I've continued to be her friend, laughing at her jokes, answering her calls, going out together, while secretly carrying this heavy, ugly knowledge that I'm basically her puppet. Sometimes I ask myself why. Why not just cut her off? Why not call her out? And the answer is kind of pathetic. I don't have anyone else. She's my only real friend, and even if she's fake, the thought of being completely alone feels worse than being lied to. So here I am, still pretending. Still smiling. Still picking her up when she needs a ride. Still paying for dinner sometimes, even though I know exactly what she says about me behind my back. Would you have done the same in my shoes? Or would you have confronted her the second you saw those messages? After that night, everything between us looked the same on the outside, but inside me, something had cracked wide open. Every laugh we shared felt hollow, every compliment from her sounded fake, every hug felt like she was playing a role. And the craziest part? She didn't notice a single thing. To her, I was still the same reliable, loyal friend. But secretly, I was a volcano simmering under the surface, carrying this heavy secret that I wasn't supposed to know. The first few weeks after reading those messages were the hardest. My brain wouldn't stop replaying her words. I'd be sitting with her in the car, she'd ask me to drive her somewhere, and all I could hear in my head was that line, "She's too easy to manipulate." It felt like I was living in two realities at once. The world where I was still her best friend, and the hidden world where I knew I was nothing more than her convenient sidekick. At one point, I even tested her. I wanted to see if she'd prove me wrong, if maybe what I read was just her venting in a bad moment. So I told her I was short on cash one weekend. We were planning to go out for brunch, and I casually said, "I'm kinda broke right now, maybe we should just stay in." Do you know what she said? Not, "Don't worry, I got you." Not, "Let's just hang out at my place." No. She literally said, "Ugh, but I've been craving that place. Can you just put it on your card and I'll pay you back later?" Spoiler: she never paid me back. That was when I realized she wasn't just saying those things in private. She was living them. She truly saw me as her safety net, her ATM, her chauffeur, her emotional sponge. And I was letting her. The weirdest part, though, was the way my feelings started shifting. Instead of being sad all the time, I started to feel this twisted sense of power. Because now I knew something she didn't. Every time she lied to my face with that fake sweetness, I thought, "You don't know that I know." It was like playing chess against someone who thought you were clueless, when in reality you already saw 5 moves ahead. And I'll admit it, part of me started to enjoy it. I'd purposely delay replying to her texts just to watch her panic a little. I'd make excuses for why I couldn't pick her up, just to see how fast she scrambled to find someone else. I even stopped offering to cover bills, and when she tried to guilt-trip me with, "But you always do it," I just smiled and said, "Yeah, but not this time." The look on her face was priceless. But the real climax of this second chapter came one night when we were drinking together. She had too much wine, and she started rambling about how grateful she was for me. "You're my rock," she slurred. "I don't know what I'd do without you." And I sat there, nodding, pretending to melt at her words, while secretly remembering the exact messages where she called me annoying and said she couldn't stand me. The irony was so sharp it almost made me laugh out loud. That night, when she passed out on the couch, her phone buzzed again. This time, I didn't even touch it. I didn't need to. I already knew what I'd find. More proof that my so-called best friend was basically my biggest enemy. But here's the messed up truth. I didn't leave. I tucked her in with a blanket, turned off the TV, and stayed the night like I always did. Why? Maybe because part of me is addicted to the friendship, even if it's fake. Maybe because I don't know how to function without her. Or maybe because I'm waiting for the perfect moment to expose that I know everything. For now, the game continues. She still thinks I'm the naive, dependable friend. I still play along. But deep inside, I'm keeping score. So tell me, if you had the chance to quietly get revenge on a friend who betrayed you, would you take it? Or would you cut them off completely and walk away? I wish I could say that things calmed down after that, but if anything, my secret knowledge made me notice even more cracks in our friendship. Once you've seen the ugly truth, you can't unsee it. It's like peeling wallpaper and realizing the whole wall underneath is rotten. You can't stop picking at it, even though you know it'll ruin the whole room. At this point, every little thing she did seemed suspicious. When she complimented my outfit, I caught myself wondering if she was making fun of it behind my back. When she laughed at my jokes, I picture her texting someone later about how cringe I was. And when she asked me for favors, which was basically every other day, I kept hearing that ugly phrase in my head, "She's too easy to manipulate." But here's the twisted part. Instead of pulling away, I leaned in. I started experimenting. It was like I was running a secret social experiment on my own best friend. How far would she go if I stopped being easy? One day, she asked me to drive her across town to pick up some stuff. Normally, I would have said yes without hesitation. But this time I lied. I told her my car was in the shop. She sighed, complained about how inconvenient it was, but eventually figured it out herself. Later that night though, she texted me, "You've been kinda unreliable lately. What's going on?" That text made my blood boil. Unreliable? After years of being her personal Uber driver, her unpaid therapist, her financial backup plan. Suddenly, because I said no one time, I was unreliable? The audacity was unreal. But instead of blowing up, I played dumb. I sent back, "Just busy, you know?" She replied with a passive-aggressive, "Yeah, I guess." And I knew she was irritated. For once, I felt like I had the upper hand. The next test came a week later. We were out shopping, and she picked up a bunch of clothes she clearly couldn't afford. At the register, she gave me that fake innocent smile and said, "Can you cover this? I'll pay you back next week." Normally, I would have caved. But this time, I smiled back and said, "Oh, I actually maxed out my card this month. Sorry." Her face dropped. She hesitated, then awkwardly put most of the clothes back. I can't lie, it felt good. Like I was finally breaking the script she had written for me. But then, something happened that I wasn't expecting. She started pulling away. Not dramatically, not all at once, but in these subtle, quiet ways. She'd forget to invite me to hangouts. She'd take longer to reply to my texts. She'd cancel plans last minute with excuses that didn't really add up. And every time it happened, I had this awful sinking feeling that maybe she didn't need me as much as I thought. That's when paranoia kicked in. If she wasn't using me, then what was left of our friendship? Did she ever actually like me? Or had it all been fake from the very beginning? The more I thought about it, the more it ate me alive. I'd lie awake at night replaying every memory, every inside joke, every road trip, wondering if any of it had been real or if I'd just been the convenient background character in her story all along. The real breaking point came at a party. She introduced me to someone as, "Oh, this is my friend. She's like my chauffeur, haha." Everyone laughed, including her. And I laughed too, but inside, I felt like the floor had opened up beneath me. It wasn't just a joke. It was the truth slipping out in public, disguised as humor. I realized then that maybe she didn't even bother hiding her opinion of me anymore. Later that night, I overheard her in the kitchen talking to another girl. She didn't know I was nearby. She said, "Yeah, she's nice, but like, she's so clingy. I can't breathe sometimes. I hang out with her because she's convenient, not because I want to." That was it. That was the moment where all the quiet bitterness, all the secret games I'd been playing, boiled over. I didn't confront her right there, because honestly, I froze. But something inside me snapped. I realized I couldn't just keep pretending forever. Sooner or later, something had to give. So now I'm at this crossroads. Do I confront her and finally expose that I know everything? Do I ghost her completely and let her wonder why? Or do I keep playing the game, slowly pulling away until she realizes she's lost me? The funny thing is, she still has no clue. To her, I'm still the same loyal friend. To me, she's a stranger I can't recognize anymore. So here's my question for you. If you found out your best friend secretly hated you, would you rather confront them directly, or just let the friendship die quietly? I think deep down I always knew there would come a breaking point. You can only bottle up so much before the pressure gets too strong. And after that party, after hearing her say out loud to someone else that she only kept me around for convenience, I felt something inside me harden. I wasn't just hurt anymore. I was angry. The anger grew quietly at first. Like when she texted me 3 days later asking if I could just swing by to help her carry some boxes up to her apartment. Normally, I would have said yes without thinking. But this time, I stared at my phone for a long time, debating. In the end, I said yes, but only because I wanted to see her face. I wanted to watch her take my help for granted, knowing full well that one day soon, it was all going to disappear. Helping her that day felt surreal. She complained about how heavy the boxes were, joked about how I was so strong and so useful to have around. The word useful stung like acid. She didn't even realize she was confirming everything I already knew. And as I smiled and carried her boxes, all I could think about was how easy it would be to drop them and just walk away. That night, I lay in bed and thought about revenge. Not the dramatic movie-style kind. Nothing violent or cruel. Just poetic. Something that would make her feel exactly how she made me feel. Small, disposable, unimportant. The opportunity came faster than I expected. She had a big event coming up, a birthday dinner she'd been bragging about for weeks. She was planning to invite everyone, book a fancy place, make it a whole production. And, of course, she expected me to help pay for decorations, buy her drinks, and chauffeur people around. She even hinted at it, saying, "I know you'll have my back like always." And in that moment, I decided, no, I wouldn't. Not this time. I kept my plan simple. On the day of her birthday, I acted totally normal. I texted her in the morning, "Happy birthday," with the usual emojis, played my part perfectly. She didn't suspect a thing. She asked if I was still coming to the dinner, and I said, of course, wouldn't miss it. But here's the twist. I never showed up. Instead, I stayed home. ordered myself takeout, put on a movie, and turned off my phone. For the first time in years, I chose me over her. And even though part of me felt guilty, another part of me felt this rush of liberation. Like I was finally cutting the strings she had tied around me. The next day, when I turned my phone back on, I had a flood of messages from her. At first they were casual. Where are you? Are you on your way? Then more urgent. Hello? Everyone's asking where you are. Then angry. Wow. Thanks for bailing on me. Really classy. And finally the guilt trip. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. You've been acting weird lately anyway. Reading those texts was like watching her true self unravel in real time. No concern, no understanding, no attempt to check if I was okay. Just pure anger that I didn't show up to serve her like always. That was my turning point. For the first time, I didn't apologize. I didn't explain. I just let the silence sit there. And it drove her crazy. Over the next week, she tried to test me. She posted passive-aggressive things on social media, little quotes about fake friends and people who let you down. She tagged me less in posts, ignored some of my messages, and then randomly sent me cheerful selfies like nothing happened. It was like she couldn't decide if she wanted to punish me or pull me back in. But here's the wildest part. The less I gave, the more desperate she seemed. And it hit me. I wasn't the powerless one in this friendship. She was. She needed me more than I needed her. Without me, who was going to drive her around? Who was going to pick up the slack? Who was going to boost her ego with unconditional loyalty? The climax came when she finally called me late at night, voice shaky, asking, "Did I do something? Why are you acting so distant?" For the first time ever, she sounded insecure, vulnerable, and I almost cracked. I almost told her everything right then and there. But instead, I said, I don't know, maybe I'm just rethinking some things. I kept it vague, on purpose. I wanted her to stew in it, to wonder if the puppet had finally cut the strings. And let me tell you, the silence on the other end of the line was the sweetest sound I've ever heard. Now I feel like I'm standing on the edge of something huge. Do I finally confront her and lay out everything I know? The messages, the lies, the manipulation? Do I make her face the truth and watch her squirm? Or do I just fade away, leaving her to wonder forever why her useful little sidekick disappeared? Either way, I know one thing for sure. She'll never look at me the same again. And maybe, just maybe, that's exactly what she deserves. So what do you think? Is it better to reveal the truth and risk the explosion, or to ghost someone quietly and let the mystery eat them alive? I always imagined the final confrontation would be explosive, yelling, tears, maybe even a dramatic walkout. But when the moment finally came, it wasn't like that at all. It was quieter, colder, scarier in a way. After weeks of distance, she finally cornered me. We were sitting in her apartment, and she suddenly blurted out, "Why are you acting so different? You're not you anymore." Her voice wasn't angry this time. It was confused, almost desperate. For a second, I almost pitied her. Almost. And that's when I decided I was done playing games. I looked her straight in the eye and said, "Because I know." She blinked. "Know what?" I didn't break eye contact. "I know what you've been saying about me. I know you hate me. I know you only keep me around because I'm useful. I know everything." The color drained from her face. It was like watching someone's entire world crumble in slow motion. At first she laughed nervously, trying to play it off. "What are you talking about? Who told you that?" But I just sat there, calm, collected, letting the silence do the work. Finally, I said, "I didn't need anyone to tell me. I read it. On your phone. That night at your place." She froze. Her mouth opened like she was going to say something, but nothing came out. Then the excuses started. "It was just a joke," she stammered. "You know how people exaggerate in texts." Then, "I didn't mean it like that. I was just venting." Then finally, "Okay, maybe I said some things, but you're overreacting." Each excuse was like another knife twisting in my back. She didn't deny it. She didn't apologize. She just scrambled to protect herself. And that's when I realized, she wasn't sorry for what she said. She was sorry I found out. I told her everything. How I'd read the messages, how I'd kept pretending, how I'd noticed every manipulation and fake smile since then. I told her how much it hurt, how humiliating it felt to realize the person I trusted most saw me as nothing more than a convenience. My voice was steady, but inside I was shaking. Years of friendship, memories, laughter, all tainted. She sat there, quiet for a long time. Then she whispered, "So what now? Are you just gonna leave me?" And that question hit me harder than anything else. Because the truth is, I didn't want to leave her. As toxic as it all was, she had been the center of my world for so long that the idea of walking away felt like cutting off a limb. But at the same time, staying felt like setting myself on fire just to keep her warm. I stood up, grabbed my bag, and said the only thing that felt true, "I don't know." And I walked out. That was months ago. Since then, we haven't really spoken. She's reached out a couple times. Texts, a missed call here and there, but I haven't answered. I see her posting on social media with other friends, smiling like nothing ever happened. And sometimes, late at night, I wonder if she even thinks about me. Or if I was really that disposable all along. But here's the thing. Even though it hurts, even though part of me still misses her, I feel lighter now. I don't wake up wondering what she's saying about me. I don't feel chained to someone who secretly despises me. I feel free. Do I regret snooping through her phone? Honestly, no. If I hadn't, I'd still be living in the dark, still playing the fool in a one-sided friendship. At least now I know the truth. And maybe that's the real confession. Sometimes the truth hurts more than the lie, but it's better than living in fake comfort. So, to whoever's watching this, what would you have done? Would you have stayed, confronted, or ghosted? And if you found out your best friend secretly hated you, would you rather know the ugly truth, or stay blissfully ignorant? Because me. I'll take the pain of honesty over the comfort of lies, every single time.